AI is transforming customer service. It's real and it works. And with Finn, we've built the #1 AI agent for customer service. We're seeing lots of cases where it's solving up to 90% of real queries for real businesses. This includes the real-world complex stuff like issuing a refund or cancelling an order. And we also see it when Finn goes up against competitors. It's top of all the performance benchmarks, top of the G2 leaderboard, and if you're not happy, we'll refund you up to $1 million, which I think says it all. Check it out for yourself at fin.ai.
From building a business to building an ecosystem to building a legacy. Overcome tomorrow's challenges together with our industrial partner ecosystem. Transform the everyday with Siemens.
Only Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile
We'll give you a free year of service.
Free year?
When you buy a new 5G phone.
New 5G phone?
Enough.
But I'm your hype man. When you purchase an eligible device, you get $25 off every month for 12 months with credits totaling 1 year of free service. Taxes extra for the device and service plan. Online only.
This guy just doesn't look right.
Eavesdroppin.
Oh, Michelle, looking rather, what's the word, global chic today? Not that anyone else can see, but too bad.
Global chic. Do you know what? I actually think that's a nicer term than ethnic.
Not allowed to say that anymore.
No, that's been cancelled.
It's global chic.
I should say it's because I've got a little hippie top on. I've got a plait in. I've got, just some hippie vibes going on.
It's Ibiza.
Fuck, I'd love to be there right now.
Wouldn't everybody?
Yes, wouldn't that be nice? A bit of sunshine. Yeah. How are you? You look like you've had a bit of sun. What's been going on?
Thank you. I don't know. I guess the sun's still shining. Why are we talking about the bloody weather? No one cares.
No one cares. What they care about is that I'm Michelle.
And I'm Geordie, and you're an eavesdropper because we are the weekly comedy storytelling podcast called Eavesdroppin.
Eavesdroppin. And you're a bloody eavesdropper because you're dropping in on us. That's what's happening right here.
You know what, Michelle? People actually love this podcast. I know that we have heard recently, the opposite of that, but people love it. I'm about to meet one of our fans in about 2 weeks' time. Shari's coming to London and I am going to meet her. I might even get her on the Patreon.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I've heard from Charlene today. She popped up. She's been at a new job. I've had a weekend with Janica from Amsterdam. Admittedly, she is a very big eavesdropper, but also a friend of mine. So she almost doesn't count, but she does count. You do count, Janica. What else? I have an email from a guy who was touched after hearing the Muses episode. His name is Abu. He wrote a message of admiration pretty much to you, Michelle.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you've been looking at the emails because it goes like this. He says, "Dear friend, I do not know you, nor do you know me, but Leonard Cohen taught us to talk, love, sing and laugh. I loved your content there. You talked about him and sang a little from So Long Marianne. I thank you for singing and for coming on YouTubes. Best wishes for you, dear, a friend." Well, his name's Abu.
Do you know what? I read the subject line of that and I was like, spam. I didn't even read that email.
Oh, no.
Is that really
Abu,
terrible?
She ignored you. You should reply.
I'm so sorry, Abu. I just thought it was spam because normally when an email says, "Dear friend,"
you think, greetings of the day.
Greetings
Can I
of
have
the-
all your money? I'm
Really?
a prince from Nigeria.
and can I have your mother's maiden name and
Dear.
Yes. So I am so sorry. I didn't even bother. I nearly actually just swiped left to delete that email.
Oh, then I wouldn't have seen it.
I know. Oh, well, thank you, Abu. That's very kind.
I've got a feeling he only watched because he's a big fan of Leonard Cohen, so he's probably not listening anymore.
Well, do you know what? Speaking of the Leonard Cohen connection,
Yeah.
I would just like to thank Safka for mentioning the Jeff Buckley.
Another fan?
Yes, I wanted to thank her for mentioning the Jeff Buckley documentary because I did watch
watched
it.
it.
I've watched it twice.
Twice?
Yes, because I felt like the first time I was just so excited to watch it that I didn't really take it all in. So I
Wow.
went back and, of course, the Leonard Cohen connection here is that he did, I think, the most beautiful rendition of Hallelujah. And I think it is probably the the level, the peak of people.
The pinnacle.
The pinnacle, that's what I'm trying to say. It's the pinnacle of cover versions of that song. Like people try and emulate Jeff Buckley's version, and it is astonishing. But the documentary, I didn't weep through it, but I was just so in love with what they were saying. I didn't realize he had been with Jonah's policewoman. That was his girlfriend for a long time.
I didn't realise that he was with Elizabeth Fraser from the Cocteau Twins.
What?
That popped up on my feed recently. Yeah, they were together for a little while.
Okay, that didn't even get mentioned on the documentary. Had no clue. There was Amy Mann. Is that her name? Amy Mann?
Really? Yes, Amy Mann. Oh, hush, keep it down now. Voices carry.
That's it, her. She was on there basically saying he was interested in me, and I just, I was like, you need love, not sex.
So all of the ladies came out saying, oh, yes, I've had a bit of Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, I'd forgotten how bloody good looking he was. He was definitely my type, that kind of feminine 90s guy in a flanny, very grungy, but he had a voice of an angel.
Oh.
So, yes, thank you, Safka. I really, really loved watching that documentary, and it took me right back to the 90s. And apparently, he really didn't have huge success in America with Grace. His first album, and really his only album, because the second album was Sketches for My Sweetheart the Drunk, which were all the unfinished songs.
Yeah. That was good too, though.
Oh, it was wonderful. And in fact, I put something on the Patreon for you Patreon members. I put not the most obvious Jeff Buckley song, but my favourite song from Sketches.
What is it?
Vancouver.
Oh, I love that song. It's my favourite.
It is absolutely so beautiful. And that's a demo.
Wow.
Imagine what that would have been. And I feel like it's the song that just ends too soon.
Yeah.
It's like, don't end this song, and then it ends abruptly and I just want more. But it is a beautiful song. So that's on the Patreon.
I'd agree with that. Michelle's just had a right old
rant
about
a rave.
Jeff,
it's been a rave.
Rant and a rave about Jeff Buckley. That's a little nod to our friends, the midlifers, who recently had their photos taken. Did you see? They've got their professional photos now.
Yes.
We've never done that.
We've never. Do you think we should?
No, I like our pics.
What? The one of me holding a phone, which isn't actually a phone. It's a Apple TV remote because I couldn't find my phone. I mean, I would have to get a curly blow dry, surely. Or no, a straight blow dry if we were going to get professional photos taken.
Would we be leaning up against each other, like with our arms folded?
Oh my God, what? Like
maybe with caps, and we're doffing our caps?
Oh, I thought you meant
we couldn't do that because you're too short and I'm too tall.
We're in Musical Youth or something. Or I don't know.
Should you be leapfrogging over me or something? You could leapfrog over me.
Oh my God, can we just throw that into AI?
Why don't we? Look, the water's got to go somewhere.
I did put a new picture up on the Patreon.
Is it an AI pic?
No, it's the one of us cheersing when we were recording in London recently.
Oh, yes.
So it's a cute one. So all you Patreon people, you get all the good stuff.
Pictures of us. Good on you.
Well, they got double trouble this month.
Yeah,
because
2
over
drops.
on Patreon, yes, we started with the most wonderful interview, as we mentioned before, with Kathy Cassidy, who was just gorgeous. And then our very own agony aunt section, and we couldn't even get through all the questions. There were so many.
Yeah, so I think maybe we have to flip a few over to next month's Patreon. So any patrons out there, please send us your queries and, asking for advice. Am I being unreasonable? There was quite a few quite out there queries that we did cover. Some of them sexual, some of them embarrassing.
Yes.
They're all real, though, as far as I know. They were all real.
They are real. They are real. And
we did our best to honour them with respect.
We did. And it's a shame we don't have time this very podcast. Otherwise, we could have just thrown one in now to give people a taste.
I know.
A taste of the agony aunt.
Well, maybe we could. Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. Let's go through. Because honestly, this is what you're missing if you're not signed up to Patreon. You're missing the good shit.
Oh, I've got one right here, Michelle.
Oh, all right. Lay it on me.
Okay, this is from Fun Auntie. She asks,
Okay. Fun auntie. It's not me. I didn't send this in. Okay.
it's real, this is real. There are a couple who have a very old dog. They are super attached to it, as you can imagine. The dog is so old now that it has to be taken out in one of those crazy prams with a cage on it. The dog is incontinent and blind. They can't face putting it down. Are they putting their feelings before the dog's?
Oh, God. Where's the comedy in this?
I know, but it's a real question.
I know, but look, anyone who has listened to this
Fun
podcast
Auntie wasn't
for
very
a long
fun
time,
there, was she? She's a bit serious.
It is a bit serious. I mean, people know I had a cat called Pina, and I had to put her down to put her out of her misery because she was bleeding from the mouth. Turns out she had cancer of the jaw.
Oh, God.
There was no operation that would fix her, and she was just in pain.
Oh.
And I howled like a fucking baby in that veterinarian's office. And, you know, my eyes were locked with hers as they put that injection in, and I saw the life drain from her body.
Oh, no.
And I was sobbing, hysterical. I mean, I was hysterical.
Well, that's heartbreaking because Pina was my cat before she was Michelle's cat.
She was the eavesdroppin. The original eavesdropper was Pina. So
Yeah.
I have to say, Fun Auntie, first of all, before I get on to the serious part, I was on my bike yesterday and I saw this cart and it said dog bus. And it's actually a real thing. It's like you put it on the back of your bike, and instead of having a child in there, it's called dog bus.
Fabulous.
It's a real thing.
But shouldn't dogs be getting their exercise and walking about?
Well, it's for old dogs like this one that's blind,
right, of course, the
incontinent.
ones-
You know, you just shove your dog in
crazy
the dog.
prams with a cage. But the thing is, when do you decide to pull the plug?
When they're blind and incontinent.
It's a bit like an old man.
I mean, it's a bit much. All they're doing is cleaning up shit after he's like bumped into something. So how fun is it for the dog? Is the dog still getting the love, or is the dog just being
Pushed around
jacked
in the pram with
on cortisone? 'Cause
Jacked?
it's jacked up on cortisone. Like, who knows? I don't know.
God.
What do you think, Geordie? I've done all the talking here.
Well, you've got some opinions. I think, that, it probably sounds like he's had his time. And maybe the thing is, for dogs, they can't tell you when they're in pain, much like what you said about Pina the cat. And perhaps it's probably the kindest thing to do. But it's very hard. And who says when a life should end? It's not like a decision that we should be making. It doesn't feel natural to make that decision. So I understand. So I think they need to think long and hard about it, of course, and then put him down. Bless him.
Sometimes enough is enough, is what I want to say.
Yeah.
And you've got to think about the welfare of the dog and not just your own personal heartbreak.
Exactly.
And there's no comedy in that.
There isn't.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I do have one more. It's quite controversial, though.
Oh, my God. Okay, lay it on me.
I'm
Lay
not
it on
even
me.
sure if I'm allowed to say it out loud.
Shit. Say
Country-
it quiet then.
Cunt.
Cunt? What?
Hang on. I didn't mean to say that. Country Queen.
Okay.
Country Queen asks, okay, I've just got to prepare myself. A friend of mine has been having an affair, and recently, during a passionate rendezvous in a hotel, her paramour had a heart attack whilst on top of her.
Oh, my God. In flagrante. What the hell?
I know, it's terrible. And it gets worse, Michelle. She called an ambulance using his phone and put it on speaker. Then she made her exit, fearing she'd be caught out. Now she's worried that Siri will pick up her voice and doesn't know whether to come clean or live with the guilt. He died.
Oh, my God. No.
What advice do you have for Country Queen's friend?
Oh, asking for a friend? Country Queen? No, seriously. Keep fucking stum about this.
Keep stum?
Absolutely.
I think she should come clean.
No. He's gone. He's 6 feet under. What good is it going to do anyone for her to come clean right now?
Well, his family might be wondering why he was found in that hotel naked. It might look like foul play. The police might be wanting to know where she is.
If the police don't come a knocking, don't go a rocking that boat.
Fair enough.
It's my
Fair enough.
advice. I mean, he's gone. He was playing away, So was she, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was having
Yeah, she
the
was.
affair.
They were both having affairs.
Right. So they've both got a lot to lose. What use is it upsetting them more? I mean, actually, maybe another way to look at this is, will it upset the family more to know that he was having an affair or that it was just a bit weird that he was in a hotel room naked with cum on his knob?
Stop.
Like, I don't know. Oh,
Why so visceral, Michelle?
I don't know. But yes, if the police come, obviously tell the truth. You got to come
Yeah, but then
clean.
it might look suspicious. She took time to respond. But hey, look.
I wouldn't be so worried about Siri though. Fuck Siri. Whatever. It's
Well,
like,
I guess that she's worried that she's left some form of recognition behind, that people are going to be able to say, oh, that's so-and-so's stiletto or whatever.
well, if they ever ask for the
Strand of hair.
911 so-called call, if there's a recording of that, yes, of course. But if there's no foul play, if it's just dude had a heart attack, I think she can probably get away with it. But you know what? You never get away with it because she knows.
She's going to carry that to the grave. And also, Michelle, you can't walk away from someone having had a heart attack. You need to stay there until the ambulance arrives, really. That's a crime.
That is true, but let's be real here. He did go out with a bang. Literally. So there's worse ways to go.
Yeah.
But yes, I do think she probably should have stuck around and sucked it up at that moment.
Oh,
but because...
God.
Oh, no, I don't mean... Oh, Geordie, you're
Oh,
disgusting.
Michelle.
I think she should have stuck around to at least, support him and give the information to the ambulance drivers. But... she didn't. And now I think don't rock the boat unless you have to.
Fair enough. So this, guys, this is the sort of level of
Oh my
query
God.
that we have been receiving. People do want to ask our opinion on these things. And even though Michelle is not an opinionated person,
I'm not.
she's very good at answering these questions. So keep writing. We'll do some more next time.
Exactly.
What are we talking about today, Michelle?
Risky business.
Risky business.
Risky. So I kind of stayed on topic, but off topic, if you know what I mean. I'm going to look at a really horrific case, which was partly inspired by a conversation we had about Lucy Letby, the British nurse who was found guilty of killing 7 babies.
Right, yes.
So with that in mind, I'm going to move on to a nurse called Charles Cullen.
Oh,
Do you know this guy?
it sounds familiar, yes.
Well, he was definitely a guy whose whole career was based on risky behaviours, because this guy seemed to live his whole life in a way that put himself and eventually everyone around him at risk. His risky business seemed to go way back before he even started nursing, because there were small signs of instability and recklessness that just built up bit by bit over his life into something darker.
Right.
So I went to Charles Cullen's Wikipedia page, and I'm just going to say, maybe it's a bad picture, but this guy just doesn't look right. He looks
What do you
fucking
mean?
terrifying. He looks terrifying.
Oh, God.
I know. So just beware. If you go to the wiki, it's a bit of a shock. Charles Cullen was born February 22, 1960 in West Orange, New Jersey. It's the second time we've had to say that.
Oh, not that accent again.
I know. New Jersey. I
No,
can't
George.
fucking- New Jersey. Please write in and tell me how I should really say
Somebody
it. Anyway,
record themselves saying New Jersey and send it in, please, so we can get it right next time.
please. Look, tragedy hit this kid at 7 months old when his father died, leaving his mother to hold everything together.
Oh.
And by all accounts, as a child, he was a bit of a loner. He was bullied at school. And at the age of 9, he made his first suicide attempt by drinking chemicals from his chemistry set.
He's 9?
9. When he was 18, his mother died in a car accident, and he was really traumatized by the fact that the hospital didn't inform him of the death of his mother.
What?
And in fact, they just sort of cremated the body without getting the say-so and approval of the family. And
Good
it
Lord.
kind of fucked him up.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So anyway, after he finished his studies, he joined the Navy. Not because he wanted to be in the Navy. But because I think it was a way out of his life. But it didn't go well for Charles in the Navy. He was bullied by his fellow sailors for being a bit odd.
Oh.
He had this incident where he was found wearing gloves and a mask, not like a COVID mask, but like a mask. I don't know what kind of mask, but...
What's his name again, Michelle? Charles what? Because I want to look.
Charles Cullen. Are you going to his Wikipedia page?
No, I want to have a look at him because you said he was terrifying. And I need to imagine. Oh.
Have a look.
Oh. No.
You don't find him terrifying?
No, I do.
Oh, see? You see? I knew.
Yeah. It's not the image I had in my mind. It's kind of like I had a picture of like Steve Buscemi in a blonde curly wig for some reason. That kind of terrifying. With lipstick on or something.
No, just kind of scary face.
Yeah.
Something in the eyes.
Yeah.
Behind the eyes. Back to this whole Navy thing. He basically got disciplined for wearing those weird gloves and mask, and he tried to kill himself again. And he, in fact, tried quite a few times unsuccessfully to kill himself. Because of that, he ended up doing a few stints in the Navy psych ward before he was eventually discharged for, quote, undisclosed reasons. So once he was out of the Navy, he decided, I'm going to be a nurse. And things actually did really start to turn around for him. He became president of his nursing class, and I didn't even know that was a thing, but it is apparently.
Who knew?
And in 1987, he graduated and got a job in the burns unit at St. Barnabas Medical Center in New Jersey.
Gosh.
So far, so good. And in fact, Charles even met and married a woman called Adrienne Baum in 1987, and they ended up having 2 daughters. But side note here, Adrienne apparently became increasingly disturbed at Charles's weird behaviour. He was cruel to the family dog.
Oh, no.
And I'm sorry, but already he's a fuckwit in my eyes just for doing that. And then in 1993, Adrienne got a restraining order against him, claiming he had spiked people's drinks with lighter fluid.
What the hell? That's going to kill you.
Yep. He had burned his daughter's books.
Oh, my God.
He said to his babysitter, can you mind these kids? Went away for a week.
Oh, shit.
And apparently he prank called a funeral home, asking them things which she interpreted as he's going to kill us, and he's asking what kind of lead time you need for funeral homes and this and that. Charles denied these claims, saying his wife was exaggerating. But she did get that restraining order, and she told everyone who would listen that Charles was mentally ill. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Charles's nursing career is going great guns.
Wow.
Except as soon as he started working in the intensive care unit, strange things started to happen. Things like patients who should have been stable suddenly crashed out and died. And there were investigations into the deaths where blood tests revealed unexpected levels of drugs like insulin and digoxin, which is a heart medication drug. And there was a spate of contaminated IV bags. But it was kind of subtle enough that nothing could be proven, but people noticed. Specifically, the other nurses started to notice that Charles seemed to be the common denominator here. And in fact, poison control, which is an American hotline that people can call if they suspect someone's been poisoned, they've been poisoned, they think someone else is being poisoned.
Drink a glass of milk, that kind of advice, and more, hopefully.
Yes, or if you think, I think my neighbour is poisoning my mum, or whatever, it's like a poison hotline for all these things.
Gosh.
So poison control was called more than once by the hospital.
Oh.
The hospital was asking for advice about unexplained cases of poisoning with medications.
Oh, right.
So, spoiler alert right here, it was him.
Okay.
Yeah, it was him. This guy's a fucking killer nurse. And we know this because down the line he admitted that he administered a lethal overdose of intravenous medication to a patient and eventually admitted to killing several other patients, including an AIDS patient who died after Charles overdosed him with massive levels of insulin.
Mm-mm.
In fact, a later investigation did determine that Charles had killed dozens of patients at that first hospital.
God.
But before all of that, at this point in the story, The hospital had suspicions that Charles was killing patients by overdosing them with meds and that whole Russian roulette style contaminating IV bags. Instead of raising the alarm on this killer nurse,
Yeah.
the hospital just eased him out. No big scandal.
Eased him out.
Yep.
What, to go on and work somewhere else?
Oh, yes. And they
Holy
even gave
shit.
him a neutral letter of reference. So you can guess what happened next, Geordie. He walked straight into a new job at another hospital.
Shucks.
Yep. So Charles moved on to Warren Hospital in Phillipsburg, where his risky behaviour became bolder. He murdered 3 elderly women, again with overdoses of digoxin that he slipped into their IV lines. One of the women actually told a family member that a sneaky male nurse had injected her as she slept, but the family members and the healthcare providers didn't believe her. Next day, she was dead.
Oh.
And honestly, I am massively triggered by that because having spent day and night in the hospital with Jen this time last year, it made me realise how vulnerable we all are when we put our trust into nurses every
And
single
healthcare
day.
professionals. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And that he targeted elderly women, I just can't. You know, it just
Yeah.
really fucking got me. What a prick.
Yeah.
So when we look back at this period of Charles's behaviour, it's audacious because on the outside he seemed like this quiet, kind of kooky, bit odd nurse. His patients and peers both kind of thought that he was odd but a great nurse. And every time he didn't get caught killing someone, he just took bigger risks because you think about it, every injection and every tampered with IV bag, he was like putting himself out there to be caught, but he wasn't. In fact, despite suspicions around him, it could be argued that for the hospital, it was financially better for them to have a few dead patients rather than
shit.
bad press about a killer nurse.
Oh my
So
God.
time and time again, the system smoothed over the bumps and opted for silence about this guy because they did not call the police. They didn't push for investigations. They didn't even share their suspicions with other institutions and hospitals. Charles just kept getting quietly let go and he'd moved on to the next hospital down the line.
Oh, this is giving me shades of Jimmy. What's his name again?
Jimmy Savile.
Savile.
Oh
Jimmy
my
Savile.
God.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes, people just cover it up.
They just cover it up and let him go to another hospital.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. And if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a reason we've never covered Jimmy Savile on this podcast.
Too hideous.
It is just too fucking hideous. And in fact, my friend, Steve Coogan, played him in a series.
Your friend.
He's my
Oh,
friend.
yes, because you had dinner
friend
with
of
him.
the podcast. Friend of me and friend of the podcast. But yeah, so watch that if you don't know anything about Jimmy Savile. Look it up. I'll put it on the Patreon links. By the late 1990s, Charles had already moved through a lot of hospitals where there would be a pattern of sudden patient deaths, raised suspicions, and then a French exit.
Jesus.
And the body count was going through the roof. And by the time the 1990s were about to hit 2000,
Party over oops.
is that what it is? Party over roops.
Yeah, feels a bit jolly for this story though. So I regret singing along now. Sorry, Michelle.
That's all right. By the time the noughties were about to happen, it seemed like Charles was just taking bigger and bigger risks and he was getting away with it until he didn't.
Yeah.
So we're going to skip to March 2003, which was basically the beginning of the end of Charles's murder rampage. And it all kicked off at Somerset Hospital in Somerville, New Jersey.
Oh, God.
I know. Where Charles, I had to do it, where Charles was working closely with 2 other nurses called Amy Loughran and Donna Hargreaves. So Amy, she was a single mum. She had 2 daughters. She worked as a critical care nurse at Somerset Hospital and she really needed that job. She's a single mum.
Yeah.
She didn't want to rock the boat with anything, but just so you know her background. Donna Hargreaves worked there from 2000 until 2014. And apparently both women absolutely loved working with Charlie. Both said Charlie was an excellent nurse. Amy said he always made her laugh and the 3 of them called themselves the 3 Musketeers. Amy later said Charles had the vibe of a boy that had been bullied at school and she
Right.
wanted to protect him. So
She
they were
wasn't
good
wrong.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't wrong. We're going to cut to a patient called Reverend Florian Gall. He called his sister at 2 a.m. one morning in early June 2003 and said he was having trouble breathing and that he was going to go to the ER at Somerset Hospital. And Lucille said, I'll meet you there. He apparently had pneumonia and sepsis and he needed to be put on a ventilator. And it was bad. And over the course of a few weeks, he was in kind of the ICU, but he did start to improve. And he was being moved out of the ICU and into critical care. Except one night after Lucille had left her brother, Reverend Gall, for the night and was happy that he was doing so much better, out of nowhere, he coded and died.
Oh, gosh.
Now, Amy was shocked because Reverend Gall had been really on the up. And it seems that she was not the only one who was shocked by his death because a nurse called Nancy from Somerset Hospital called the Poison Control Center in Newark, New Jersey, and spoke to a doctor there called Dr. Bruce Ruck, who is a toxicologist. And she asked about the drug digoxin. So it's normally used to treat heart failure. And the nurse told Dr. Ruck that she had this patient who had not had a dose of digoxin in about 2 days, but the levels were huge. And Dr. Ruck was like, that doesn't make any sense. It must be a lab error. Then the nurse said, yeah, the man's dead. And to cut a long story short, at that point, Dr. Ruck was like, this is not a lab error. This is a police matter and you need to report it.
Fuck.
So 2 days later, Dr. Ruck calls Somerset to follow up and asks what the hospital had decided to do. The hospital worker on the end of the phone said, oh, actually, administration has taken over that investigation. They've called in our attorneys and they've told me not to talk to anyone else about this. And, oh, actually, I need to hang up. It's a fucking cover up. They were covering it up. They never reported it.
Oh, my God.
Then, 3 months later, on Friday, October 3rd, Detective Tim Braun, who was the commander of the Somerset Major Crimes Unit, gets a call from the Somerset County prosecutor about a death that occurred at Somerset Medical Centre. The on-call detective at the time was Detective Baldwin, and both he and Detective Braun say they were kind of pushed into meeting with high-ranking members of the medical centre who were looking into a few deaths at the hospital. Now, there was a woman called Mary Lund who was a risk manager there. She was the point of contact, and she said, listen, we were informed we needed to call you, but actually we did an internal investigation, everything's fine. So the police asked for the investigation notes, and basically they got handed a document, 1 page, saying no suspicious activity. But weirdly, the document did mention Nurse Charles Cullen. And on the back of this document was a post-it note that said Pennsylvania trooper Bob Egan had called for info investigating missing meds at St. Luke's Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So now the police were like, what the fuck is this sticky note? And why is it referencing a whole other hospital?
Yeah.
How is this connecting? The connection was Charles Cullen.
Yeah.
And they began to panic because they were like, fuck, the penny dropped for them. If he really was this killer nurse that is somehow, these two unconnected hospitals are inquiring about this one guy that was mentioned in the report.
Yeah.
They had to act fast because he was still working at Somerset Hospital. So the detectives go back to Mary Lund and ask if there are any more documents. And she's like, nope, you got everything. So they go to another hospital where he had been working, Warren Hospital. All the documents there where Charlie had any kind of suspicious connections destroyed.
Wow.
Then on day 20 of the investigation, Dr. Bruce Ruck at the Poison Control Center, who did that toxicology, he gets a call from Tim Braun, the detective, asking about digoxin. And Dr. Ruck just says, are you calling about Somerset? And Detective Braun's like, what do you mean? And Dr. Ruck says, we've been telling them they have a murderer there for quite some time.
Oh, what?
Yep. And Detective Braun is like, see you in 15 minutes. And he races over there. And Dr. Ruck is like, where have you been? You should have been here months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And the upshot of that is, allegedly, Mary Lund knew what was going on. She knew, and she covered it all up to protect the hospital and the board and all the money. And in the meantime, people are being murdered.
People died.
I know.
How many?
Well, a lot. So Mary Lund, she gets asked about this machine called a Pyxis, which is like a computerized dispensing machine that, hands out the meds, basically. You have to log in. He wanted to see what medications Charles had been withdrawing. But Mary Lund says, oh no, we only hold that information for 30 days. Bullshit, because the detectives go to the manufacturer and say, no, of course you can get every single record from the beginning of that machine's life. So they go back to Mary Lund and say, come on, we know you can get this. And within 2 minutes, she gives him all the files.
Right.
So she's
so
covering
naughty.
up, right? And then basically Charles is requesting all the same medicines that are killing the patients. Digoxin, insulin. But then he's cancelling the requests. But the meds are going missing. So they tell the hospital, you need to fire this guy. But they're like, we can't. There's not enough information here. So the police are like, fuck, we've got to get rid of him. So they go through his resume and they find a little discrepancy and they fire him because of that.
What was it? Something really minor?
No, it was really minor. It was like he lied about something at some hospital. They found him out and the hospital said, we've got to let you go.
Oh, man.
But they just needed to get him the fuck out of there so he couldn't kill more people.
Yeah, but where's he going to go next? Somewhere else, kill more people?
Well, that's it. But Amy Loughran and Donna Hargreaves saw him being let out of the building by security and they were like, why the fuck are they firing such a good nurse over, it's just something crazy on his resume. The detectives, meanwhile, they are interviewing everyone on staff asking, do you know anything about Charlie? All of them are saying no because Mary Lund has told them
to keep stum.
Keep stum. She's coaching them. She's also sitting in on the interviews.
Good Lord.
And none of them want to lose their job.
She's complicit.
Yep. And then Amy Loughran was the last one to be interviewed. And he was like, I need to interview her on my own. So he got Mary out and she basically said, listen, I'm trying to protect my friend. And he goes, really? Well, how about this? And pushes all the information from the Pyxis machine, which dispenses the medications.
Yeah.
And she's looking at it going, oh, fuck. And the penny drops for her as well. And then she realizes, oh, my God, all those times when he handed me IV bags and those patients died, I was complicit in those murders.
Shit.
Want to get your hands dirty for a good cause? Volunteer with Gardeneers and help support students in Chicago's South and West Side schools as they learn to grow fresh food, care for gardens, and build healthier futures. No gardening experience needed, just your time, energy, and a desire to help local youth thrive. Best of all, you'll be making a direct impact where it matters most. Sign up to volunteer today at gardeneers.org.
It was really awful. So she basically said, I'll be a whistleblower. I'll help you get Charlie.
But she was complicit because she was being handed those bags.
But she didn't know that they were contaminated.
No, fair enough.
She didn't. And she just felt sick that she had been involved in that small way. So the police convinced her to wear a wire and go have lunch with Charlie and get him to talk. She does. She wears a wire. But before she did that, they went to Reverend Gall, remember him?
Yes.
The sister, and said, we have a suspicion he might have been poisoned. Can we dig up the body? And she herself is a nurse. And she was horrified that there could be a killer nurse out there. So she's like, yep. So they exhume the body. And of course, they find absolutely lethal doses of digoxin in his tissues. And so he's now turned from natural causes to murder victim.
Wow.
In the meantime, the police are there then setting up Amy, and they make her wear a wire and they have this lunch. And Amy says, come on, what really was going on with Reverend Gall? He is about to confess to Amy what's going on.
Yeah.
The wire goes dead.
Oh, no.
And Amy's got no idea. The police are like, fuck. But apparently, according to Amy, she said to him, I know you did it, and I love you anyway. And she said that when she said that to him, he went pale, his voice changed, and he just turned into a different person.
What?
He said to her, I'm going to go down fighting.
Wow.
Even though the wire went dead, the detectives had a feeling he was going to confess, and they were waiting for him. They arrested him after he came out of the cafe, took him back. Charlie goes into the interview room. Amy's watching it, and he confesses everything. He confesses he was poisoning using IV bags. He confesses that he was feeding digoxin to people, injecting, because Detective Braun said, how many in total? And he says, 30, maybe 40.
Oh, God.
And he officially at that point is one of the worst serial killers in the USA.
Wow.
Cut to April 2004, he pleads guilty to killing 13 patients and attempting to kill 2 others with lethal injection. As part of the plea deal, he promises to cooperate with authorities if they take the death penalty off the table for him.
Right.
So he goes in, pleads guilty to 3 more patients.
Okay.
And then 6 more. And basically in 2006, he was sentenced to 18 consecutive life sentences.
Oh, my God. They just kept totting up.
Yep. And he is not eligible for parole until June 10th, 2403. So he'll be long dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the sad thing is the police have gone back to all the hospitals he worked at, and they think there's more than 400 deaths over the 16 years that he was a nurse, which makes him the worst serial killer in the United States.
Yeah.
So to pull this back to risky behaviour,
yes,
because he almost got caught, but not quite in the early days.
He just kept doing it.
Got bolder and bolder.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't been caught, he would still be killing. And for anyone who wants to know more about this case, there is a Netflix documentary called Capturing the Killer Nurse. And there was also a movie made about this case called The Good Nurse with Jessica Chastain and Eddie Redmayne.
Okay. Yes.
So get on it.
Right. Thank you, Michelle. That is truly chilling.
Fucked.
Real life.
Real life.
True crime.
True crime.
Do you like supernatural? Well, like you said, this week it is risky business. Risky business. Winceworthy Tales of Stupidity is my subtitle.
Right. Okay. Not just absolutely terrifying psychopathy.
Horrific murders
okay.
like you've just told us. Yeah, exactly. Well, I've got things like the Darwin Award, which I have a great example of from 2008. You know, the Darwin Awards are usually given out posthumously because the people have died, and that's what it's all about, dying in the most bizarre or stupid way possible. And there's the one about the Brazilian priest who strapped himself to a bunch of helium balloons, hoping to set a world record and raise awareness for roadside chapels for truckers, an unusual charity, but here we go. He did it.
Yep.
He tooled himself up with a survival suit, a satellite phone, GPS. But the problem was, Michelle, he didn't really know how to use the GPS.
No.
And when the winds pushed him out to sea, he tried to call for help, but the rescuers couldn't locate him. Then his phone battery died, and so did his adventure, basically.
Oh, my God.
Weeks later, scraps of balloons washed up on beaches and mountains, all evidence that his flight plan had gone awry, and eventually his body surfaced, proving he really had gone to meet his maker.
Oh, no. And it was all for charity too. He was doing it with such good
charity.
motives.
I know,
Oh,
but
poor
why
guy.
no, you can't lift off on a bunch of balloons. But why do people risk life and limb? I was caused to look into this because I came across a couple of articles. There was this one. Back in March 2019, a woman in Arizona decided that her Instagram needed something a bit jazzier. So she climbed over the concrete barrier at the jaguar enclosure in Wildlife World Zoo in Phoenix just to get a selfie.
Oh, you
this to me was utter madness. You hear about it every now and again,
What a dickhead.
but still it goes on. Predictably, the jaguar wasn't happy for the company, So it grabbed her jumper and ripped into her arm. So there's blood, panic, witnesses screaming.
God.
Luckily, bystanders pulled her away before things got much worse.
Oh.
This woman survived and the jaguar survived, and she then admitted it was her fault. But the whole grisly scene went viral, and the internet was asking the obvious question, why would anybody do something so foolish?
Because she wanted the likes.
She wanted the likes.
Oh,
you see,
God.
Michelle, it's not a one-off. You've all heard, all of you, the eavesdroppers and you alike, Michelle, you've all heard similar stories to this over the years.
Yep.
The year before, in 2018, a drunk man in India jumped into the lion enclosure because apparently he wanted to see the big cats up close.
God. There's a reason there's a fucking fence there, mate.
Just leave them alone.
They want to eat you.
But again, these lions weren't impressed when he jumped in. Even after he asked them nicely, that still didn't cut it. He was saying things like, please come to me, my darling, please.
Oh, God. Okay. Did he live or die?
I don't have the end of the story. I don't know.
No.
I think he made it. He made it.
Okay.
And then in China, there's this one zoo goer who tried the same thing, but multiple times with different enclosures before, sadly, he was killed by a walrus.
Oh, fuck, man.
They can be very angry.
They're heavy and they've got those sharp
Yeah, they are
tusks.
angry guys.
Oh, dear.
Then there was one in Yellowstone Park. Tourists kept ignoring warnings and getting gored by bison, all because they wanted the perfect picture, you numbnuts.
Oh, God, just use AI.
I know. Then there's this one from Nick Nicholas on Quora, who told the story of Christmas Day 2007 at the San Francisco Zoo, where a group of silly youths tormented a Siberian tiger called Tatiana. They were basically throwing things at her, rocks, batteries, whatever they could get their hands on, until eventually poor Tatiana, well, she'd had enough, Michelle. She was so wound up, she was furious. She managed to climb out of her enclosure and take revenge. Somehow Tatiana got herself over a 20-foot wall and a 15-foot moat.
Fucking hell.
Because she was enraged. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So the weird thing is that at first, the authorities kind of worried that the 5 tigers had escaped, but then they learned that Tatiana was the only one that was loose. But it took them ages to actually realize that this was the case. She was prowling the zoo's grounds for God knows how long and attacked the 3 teens who had tormented her. 17-year-old Carlos Salsa, who died.
Oh, my
And the
God.
other 2 were brothers, Paul and Kulbir Daliwal, aged 19 and 23 years old. They survived, but with horrific injuries.
Oh,
Police arrived to find Tatiana sitting beside one of the surviving victims near the zoo's cafe. And when she moved towards the police officers, they shot and killed her. So more victims.
oh, no. Oh, I feel bad for her.
It's awful, isn't it? Carlos, who is the man who died, his family denied that he was taunting Tatiana, but police found a shoe and blood in an area between the gate and the edge of the animal's moat, which prompted the possibility that one of the victims had dangled a leg over the edge of the moat.
Oh,
Why would you?
Jesus.
Why?
People are just stupid sometimes. They just don't think and they don't realise there's wildlife. The clue is in the name. Wild.
Could turn on a penny.
They're wild.
Could turn on a penny.
You know?
They could turn on you.
Of course. They're fucking wild.
Absolutely.
So,
to be fair, though, the tiger habitat at San Francisco Zoo was revealed to be 4 feet shorter than national standards. And Tatiana had form. She had previously mauled a keeper's arm once before during a public feeding. So all of these things added up.
she had the Menno rage. I hear you, Tatiana. I hear you.
She had had enough and this is it. She's going for it. However, these guys had been seen throwing things and taunting the tiger before the attack, so kind of asking for trouble. And when she finally escaped, the 2 brothers had run for their lives and ended up at the zoo cafe about 300 yards away, but the door was locked and they were trapped outside screaming for help until an employee heard them and dialed 911.
God. Oh, people.
The thing is, though, the emergency response didn't come quickly because, to begin with, cafe staff told dispatchers that they thought the screaming man was mentally unwell and not really being attacked by a tiger.
Oh.
And then zoo security slowed things down even further because they enforced a lockdown trying to keep the tiger from roaming the city streets. So they were all like in there with a tiger going mad. And then when they confronted the animal, like I said before, they found Tatiana with one of the brothers.
Yeah.
They couldn't fire straight away because they were worried they were going to hit him and he was still alive. So they created a distraction which made the tiger turn, and then they shot her through the forehead. It's really sad.
Couldn't they have just given her...
No, she's got form, like you said.
Well, I guess. Dogs get put down for less.
Exactly. So, as I said, the Dhaliwal brothers survived, although both suffered deep bites and claw wounds to their heads, necks, arms, and hands. And then they were discharged from hospital on December 29. And like I said, their friend Carlos Salso wasn't so lucky. He was found near the Tiger Grotto, killed by blunt force injuries to the head and neck, along with multiple puncture wounds, scratches, fractures, and a severed jugular vein.
Oh, that's grim.
So why are people risking life and limb for a selfie with an apex predator, Michelle? Well, psychologist Susan Clayton says we've started to see animals less as real and more like props. And most of us only ever encounter wild animals in managed settings such as zoos, safari parks, or aquariums where there are barriers and rules. And the distance tricks us into thinking, oh, they're not that dangerous. They're fine. He's cute, he's cuddly.
Yeah.
What a sweet little crocodile. And then you've got a bit of alcohol or social media chucked in, and the promise of likes on socials, and all reason goes out the window.
Do you remember that movie Grizzly Man?
Yes.
Yes.
We talked about this.
We have talked about this on the podcast. You know, he thought he was friends with the bears, and then they ate him.
And then they ate him and his girlfriend. Yeah, there's YouTube videos of thrill seekers cuddling lions or swimming with sharks, and that just makes people think that it's okay for us to do it too.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No.
Spoiler. It's not. Have you heard of the lion whisperer guy?
No. Who's he?
He's a guy I think he's on YouTube as well. His name's Kevin Richardson, and he play fights with lions and hyenas on camera for nearly 1 million subscribers.
Oh, God.
Obviously, conservation groups have criticized him, saying he's sending the wrong message. And then tragically, one of his reserves saw a woman mauled to death by a lion in 2017. Psychologists like Erin Vogel, who points out that likes and comments give people a real dopamine hit and a little boost of self-esteem, and then put that in with the fact that your feed is full of selfies with people stroking tigers and cage diving with sharks. It normalizes risky encounters, and they want that shot too.
Do you know what? I remember quite a few years ago when my friend was on the dating apps, she said, if I see one more fucking profile pic of a dude with a tiger or a snake, I'm going to scream. They all thought it was like the top shot to have of themselves with some kind of fucking wild animal.
Oh my God.
Not sexy. Not sexy, guys. Risky.
Oh, I know. Risky business, Michelle. It's risky business. That's why we called it risky business.
Indeed.
And sadly, it can happen the other way around as well, though, Michelle. Not the people jumping into the enclosure, but in 1987, the UK was hit by its first hurricane in modern times. Southern England took the brunt. You might remember it. And at Howlett Zoo, the storm brought down a huge tree right onto the fence of the tiger enclosure. These weren't just any tigers. They'd been hand raised, so they were used to zookeepers. But even so, the situation was really bad. One man was a keeper called Nick. He went in with a chainsaw to cut up the fallen tree. And while he was working, the other keepers stood guard at the gap in the fence, armed and ready to shoot if the tigers showed any sign of bolting, or if, like, the sound of the saw would make them run. And basically that was a moment that showed the trust between man and animal and the thin line between safety and catastrophe.
Definitely. But we all know man's best friend. People have a dog and the dog's fine until it's not.
Until it's not fine, exactly.
And then it, mauls a baby.
And as Richard Iwadi said, it can get real fast, especially for people jumping into enclosures. And it's also real for the animals. It's a real threat to their lives, because every time someone crosses a barrier for a selfie, the animal's safety is also put at risk.
I mean, not to mention, every time some child does the choking challenge on TikTok and ends up dead, like, come on.
That's outrageous.
Or there was some kind of chemistry experiment where a scientist had done this thing where you put some liquid gas in a bottle and then it's meant to shoot up.
Is that the Mentos?
No, maybe not. I don't know.
Mentos in Coke?
No, it's a different one. It's with rubbing alcohol. Some kid did it and, of course, completely went up in flames. Luckily, his brothers saved him, but
oh God,
he is covered in third-degree burns.
Oh, jeez.
All for likes and dumb shit on TikTok.
This is what people are doing and they're not thinking it through. But what if it's your job to get the scoop that puts you in danger? Obviously, you used to be a journalist, Michelle. I don't know how many risky things you did to get the big story.
Well, I was never in a war zone, put it that way.
Well, I was going to say, right now in Gaza, even working for a food bank or working for medical aid puts your life at risk. But I saw this reel on Instagram and it led me to a news report from 2017 about a guy called Reza Aslan, who some of you might know as a scholar and TV presenter. And he found himself in a pretty wild situation while filming his CNN series, Believers. In this episode, he visits the Agori, which is a fringe Hindu sect known for their extreme practices, and ends up being pressured to eat human brains.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God. No.
He's also smeared with cremation ashes and even drinks alcohol out of a human skull.
The fuck?
And that's not the risky part because more things happen. But obviously this show sparked lots of backlash, by the way. I should just say,
God.
Hindu groups in both the United States and in India accuse this program of being Hindu-phobic and sensationalizing their religion. Plus it aired just as Indian communities in America were already on edge after a string of hate crimes. So it was poorly timed and it was meant to be an exploration of faith, but it unfortunately quickly turned into a global talking point about representing and the curiosity into this religion, and then how quickly it became exploited, because at one point during filming, things took a really dark turn, Michelle. One of the holy men actually threatened to decapitate Reza Aslan for talking too much. He hands Aslan what he claims is a bit of the human brain to eat. Aslan posted on Facebook about the experience saying, "Want to know what a dead guy's brain tastes like? Charcoal. It was burnt to a crisp." So I don't really know if he really ate it. But the scene then ended in chaos because these guys are cannibals and it looked like they were about to eat Aslan.
Fucking hell.
The camera crew picked up their cameras and made a run for it.
Fuck yeah.
The holy man was throwing his own shit at them and threatening them, and it looked like they were about to be dinner. So that was how it almost ended in tears for this camera crew. Aslan does make it clear, however, that the Agori are a fringe sect. They're just a few thousand people out of over 1 billion Hindus worldwide. Not everybody does this. I don't want to promote the fact that Hindu people eat people. That's not true.
A small amount do.
Well, just this Agori tribe, apparently, yes. He even interviews some of the followers of the Agori who don't practice cannibalism. But obviously the spotlight was on the most extreme behaviour and it set off a firestorm.
That's fucking risky, putting yourself in the line of a cannibal.
Exactly.
Dinner.
And I'm sure we can find loads more stories like that, but we've come to the end. And while CNN is being slammed for inflating fear, one Catholic priest is inflating balloons literally to float himself into the headlines, and people are jumping into zoo enclosures. And if that wasn't enough risky business for you guys, we just have to ask this final question. Is it faith? Is it foolishness? Or is it just fatal curiosity? Or is it just the need for more likes?
Do I need to answer?
You can.
Oh, look, I just think people are stupid in the moment.
People are stupid and that's that.
Well, they're in the moment. They're not thinking it through. You know, it's impulsive behavior. Or people who are like, oh, I need it for my Instagram for likes.
Well,
grow the fuck up.
Grow the fuck up. Or perhaps use the Zoom feature on your phone instead. It's safer and you'll keep all your arms and legs.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Geordie, for that.
Thank you very much.
For that story. My God.
That's my pleasure. Hopefully that's a cautionary tale. I'm pretty sure most of our eavesdroppers aren't into risky business.
No, but if you are,
not that kind.
Tell us.
Do tell.
Tell us the riskiest thing you've ever done.
And if you've made it this far, can we please ask, we're doing a drive at the moment, a little drive. We want you to please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts if you can.
Yes.
A big push, please, because it helps us go higher in the ratings.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Little five stars, right? They're amazing, or whatever you want to write. And
exactly.
Because when you write something, it counts more. So yes, give us a like, give us a follow on all the socials. Don't throw yourself into any enclosures.
Please don't do that.
And obviously we'll see you next week, because I think, Geordie, there's only 3 things at this point left to say.
Could they be wherever you are?
Whatever you do, just keep
eavesdropping.
Eavesdropping, eavesdropping, dropping, eavesdropping, dropping, eavesdropping, eavesdropping, dropping, dropping, eavesdropping, eavesdropping all day long. Eavesdropping, this is the song. Drop it like it's hot.
From mindless tasks to industrial-grade AI to ease of mind. Supercharge your transformation with industrial AI. Transform the everyday with Siemens.
Only Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile.
We'll give you a free year of service.
Free year?
When you buy a new 5G phone.
New 5G phone?
Enough.
But I'm your hype man. When you purchase an eligible device, you get $25 off every month for 12 months with credits totaling 1 year of free service. Taxes extra for the device and service plan. Online only.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.